Okay, I'm finishing off this masa, and what I did was, what I had to do, you see how it's unsticking on the side? That's what I wanted. I wanted that kind of consistency, or the texture to be where it's pliable and where it's removing itself from the side. I love this little mixer because I can save my arm strength. This mixer is so perfect to make these butternut squash masas. Now I've had my corn husk soaking in here, so make sure your sink is completely sanitized. And now I'm just going to go ahead and let them drain. These were already used for my previous tamales. And basically you can find your corn husk, which I've shown in so many different videos. You can find your corn husk at your local specialty store. So, and now I'm going around. It seems like I'm going in circles, but I'm just kind of bringing this whole butternut squash to a little bit of a closing so that you can understand what I'm doing, how I do them. And basically and these are reused, and what I did was I dried them out, and I went ahead and the ones that I don't use, I put them back in its own, so you can reuse them if you haven't used them. Actually, my mother used to, my mother, when she made tamales, we used to save them. And she used to, we used to save them, re-rinse them, and reuse them. And you could do that, but under our safe, if you're doing them professionally, you can't. So under the safe and healthy guidelines, health environment, you cannot do that. So, and you have to make sure that, well, you don't. I usually wrap them in paper afterwards when I get ready to freeze them. So I wrap each one and I put them in the freezer, and then when I get ready to use them, when I had my business, when I get ready to use them, I would go ahead and steam them. So, okay, so this is our the masa. And it's become really, oh my God, it's so beautiful. I like the way it's sticking. It's not sticking to the sides. It's doing its thing here. And I added a little bit more, and I want that nice consistency. I added a little bit more of the masa because I added a little bit more spreadable butter. I melted it. Make sure it's melted. And then, if you need to, which I may go ahead and add just a little bit, because I want my tamales to be moist. And go ahead and add just a little bit more of your stock. And this is a light stock that I made. This stock right here, which I didn't tell you in the previous video, I basically made it with a few bits of just the carcass of the roasted chicken, and I added some vegetables, and it's a lighter version. I mean, I didn't have that full stock flavor, so to speak, and it's, you know, it's pretty much a light stock, which it's very versatile, and I could make a soup, which is what I'm going to do later, is make a soup, because I want some soup, and I'm thinking butternut squash soup would be good with these tamales. Anyways, make sure when you're making your masa, you bring some kind of acidity, and that's why I use the salsa verde, which enhances the flavor of the green chilies. And I may use these and stuff them with some black beans, or I'll probably, there's so many ways, different ways you can make your tamales with your butternut squash masa. So, and this is you can use some jalapenos. You can make them with a little bit of mozzarella cheese or pepper jack cheese. I like using a variety of cheeses, which is a mozzarella cheese and a jack cheese together, because you get that stretchiness and then you get that softness at the same time. And then you can also incorporate some cheddar cheese, which is what I'm not going to do. I want to get a white cheese instead. And they do have white cheddar if you prefer that. And then I'm going to be putting some of my mole sauce that I've had. It's so good. I have a blended mole sauce that I made. And then, well, it's the beginning of it's like a mole sauce because it's nice and thick and it's made out of a variety of peppers, but it's not an actual mole. It's not a complete mole. And then you want to make sure that you flavor up your masa. There's so many different flavors you can use. And then also you can do butternut squash, or you could use a pumpkin. And they're pretty much in the same family, like on the sweet side. And that's why I add these other flavors to make it a savory. Now if I wanted to make it sweet, then that would be different. I would add some sweetness to that. And like I said, it enhances my green chilies because I don't want it to be spicy. Unless you want it to be spicy, then you can add the jalapenos with the black beans, with some cheese. And make sure you put the mole sauce with the black beans. So I usually strain it and then add the mole sauce to that, and that's what gives it that nice flavor. Okay, I shared with you a lot of my tips. So I know that coronavirus is out there, and we should always practice safety when cooking in the kitchen, and especially if you are making tamales for someone else. It's important that you practice safety, safety, safety. I'm telling you, it's very important. I just rubbed my nose, but I always wash my hands. So make sure you wash your hands in between. It's really easy for me because my sink is right next to all my cooking stuff. And use your aprons, and don't sneeze on your food when you're cooking. Don't cough on your food when you're cooking. And yeah, and then, you know, enjoy your cooking, which is what I'm going to do. Make sure you stay safe. Practice social distancing, which I have for many years now. Not by choice, but and also practice you know, just be careful out there, because this thing is like serious, and people are dropping like flies. So God bless those who have lost family members to this horrible disease. My heart goes out to them. I had a meltdown earlier. I was crying because this thing just reminds me of, you know, life is so valuable, and life is so delicate, and we need to be mindful and aware of that, so with each other. Anyways, I hope you try this recipe, and I will be posting probably the results. Be safe and have a wonderful day. Thanks.